Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This is kind of another check-in video to kind of see how people are. I'm also just going to be running around the Asteria Plains, I think, for this video, since in all my previous videos I'm either in dungeon or in just the main city. So I thought that this would be a nice kind of mix-up from those environments. But really want to talk about just kind of this upcoming week because so as I'm recording, it's basically, I think, day 11 going into day 12 since the start of the game. And this week that we have coming up is kind of what I like to think of as like a kind of a catch-up week. There are still things that will be released throughout the week, don't get me wrong. But it's not, I think, as significant, if that makes any sense, where like previously with the dungeons that we had coming out every 2 days, there was always the push and pull where people were trying to get their ability score high enough. For reference, my ability score right now is at 11,350. So I'm able to do all the dungeons in the game. There isn't anything I haven't been able to do yet. And I think I also cleared the vaults up to floor 20. So basically have gotten everything that I can really do in the game with my ability score, right? And again, there are definitely going to be more things added in the future that is still coming. We're not even done our talents, right? I'm only at 62 points as of day 11. Max is going to be 70, right? So we still have other things to do, but main story's done, right? Main story I actually finished up, I believe, yesterday, or maybe even it was either day 9 or day 10 that the main story finished. And then dungeon wise, that finished again today on day 11, which means that we're left now with basically all the other stuff until next week basically starts. So during this kind of catch-up week, we're really filling out the rest of our class. Again, we're going to have some stuff like the refinement is going to be increased. The solo trials are going to be available to continue getting your talent point trees. We still haven't hit level 60 yet, right? So I'm still also only level 58. I think we hit level 60, or I'll probably hit it either tomorrow or the day after, and whatnot. So there's still definitely things to fill up the time, but it's not as demanding, I think, right? And again, there isn't anything inherently new this week. No new dungeon, no new anything like that. There will be nothing like that for this week. The most we'll get of like new content would most likely be just the new places that haven't yet unlocked. Right, so there's like Skimmer's Lair or Schemer's Lair, which this opens in like 2 days. Which I do actually like this area. I think it looks pretty cool. And the Dusk Dye Woods will be towards the end of this week as I'm recording this, right? So those two will be available, which they are just, further exploration areas. So in that regard, there is some things that could be interesting there visually and whatnot. But again, like not actually requiring any amount of ability score progression and whatnot for the most part, outside of just like farming the new like monsters that aren't available yet, right? Like for the most part, I think this is the last one that people can really farm, because Celestial Flyer, that's in the Schemer's Lair, Skimmer's Lair. And then I think the rest of these ones are in the Dusk Dye Woods, and even this one might actually be in the Everfall Forest. Yeah, sorry, it says it right here, which we won't have access to for even longer. So this one actually is Skimmer's Lair. So then is this one Dusk Dye Woods? Yeah, okay. So, there's still a few, and then of course you even have these ones, right? It's like Jungle Goblin Warrior, which I believe is the purple one for strength. It gives you the strength passive effect, so for classes that use strength, like Wind Knight, maybe that'll be helpful. This is hard to farm because you can't really access it right now, because again, this is in the Dusk Dye Woods. And I don't think anyone uses these ones, although this one is the ice one, and this one is a lucky one, but I don't know that people use this one. Maybe they do. I don't know. But either way, some that we haven't gained access to because, again, we're still waiting for those areas to be unlocked. But again, no new dungeons, 20-man raids. You won't have, anything more at that to come out. And also, again, gear-wise, I'm full gold now. There is no more gear to obtain in terms of level 40 golden gear, right? There's nothing higher to obtain now that all the dungeons are out, at least for the remainder of this week, right? Again, we're still going to have refinement. You can obviously always try to get more gold gear that has better substats. We are going to even get the emblems, although those don't really have much of an impact. They do technically increase your ability score, but they don't have much of an actual impact in terms of your actual like gameplay, I would say, at least in dungeons and whatnot. It only, I think, impacts like void enemies. Really, the biggest thing that we haven't yet gotten, which we never got in CBT either, was actually the module system. So this will be new. And I believe, I don't even think this comes out though until the master mode comes out, which again is all the start of next week. So we kind of have our first content drought, if you really want to call it that, which again, it's a week. It's not really that bad. And again, for people who, like, I still have a lot of friends who are still catching up ability score wise. So this is kind of time to, I think, be able to maybe even relax a little bit more as a result of there not being as much of a reason to keep on pushing, because again, you don't necessarily have to right now. If you meet that 11,000 plus ability score, you can do just about anything for the entirety of this week, right? Again, the vaults will open up, I think, to floor 45, but I don't know that people will be able to clear all the way that high. Although I assume it's easier now than it was before, but even with that being said, we'll still have to see how easy it is with our current ability scores. I imagine we'll probably get, by the end of this week, some people maybe to 13,000, 14,000. We'll see. The refinement definitely helps a lot. Skill books help a lot. When we hit level 60, right, we'll be able to level up these skills all to 30 and whatnot, so that'll definitely help. But yeah, we'll have to see in that regard. But again, for the most part, a little bit more of a chill week upcoming. So it's mostly just looking forward to new areas. But again, if you do want to prepare for master mode, because so two things will be released at the start of next week, right, which you can use this week to prepare for, is the master mode dungeons, which will just be for the first 3, right? So you'll be looking at the Goblin Lair, Tina's Mine Realm, as well as Towering Ruins, or Towering Ruin. And those ones all have, master mode 1 through 5, which I don't think should be too hard. And they will all give level 60 golden gear. So again, we have level 40 golden gear for the entirety of this week, but then starting next week, you'll be able to actually get level 60 golden gear, which will basically be the new thing. And I think level 60 purple gear will also be available from the dungeons that we have access to already right now. And then when it comes to anything else, there's also going to be the 20-man alliance raids. I call them alliance raids. It's just the 20-man raids, not alliance. That was a little bit of Final Fantasy 14 slip there. But when it comes to the 20-man raids, they have their own separate gear set that is still level 60 golden gear. But their set effect or their substats are dependent on the class you have equipped, as far as I'm aware, right? Which to some degree actually allows more multi-classing, or at least more ease of multi-classing, because it automatically swaps between which class you play. And I believe for the raid gear, you really only need to get one of each piece, where like it will switch even the main stat. So like if you're a tank and you swap to a healer, it'll change all the stats on the raid gear if it's from the 20-man raid, right? So I think that's pretty interesting. And typically it ends up being a mixture of the raid gear as well as the gear from master mode that you would get. But also, again, I think all of the drops from everything else starts to drop level 60 gear as well. Like I think they just, bump it up to level 60. So all the purple gear will be level 60. I think like golden gear you would get from like the friendship events or whatever, the street dance and dance novice stuff, or like the killing any of the elite bosses and whatnot. That might give you a kit that you can open for a legendary equipment. Those will all be level 60 as well. Only downside to the 20-man raid yellow gear or golden gear is that it will not have the purple affix or the purple stat, right? We're talking about these stats right here. It will not have this stat. So that's typically why you see a mixture of the raid gear as well as just the regular purple, golden gear with the purple affixes, because you do want those. So people have optimized. And of course, if you check the Maxroll website, you'll see they talk about all that gear stuff there. And in fact, they already have the builds for level 60 gear. I assume that they might update it for level 80 at some point, but it'll be a while till we get that. But also for the 20-man raids, I believe it will only be the, I think it's only the normal mode difficulty that we'll have access to at the start. I'm not sure that we will have the full, I don't think nightmare mode will be out for a while. And it will be weekly, so you only have to clear them each once a week. So there's 3, right, fights, 3 dragons, kill them all in a week, and you're done for that week. Eventually, when the newer modes come out, or when the higher difficulties come out, you can actually clear each of them, I believe, at their own separate difficulty. They don't count against each other, which is nice. So that is something to keep in mind as well. But that's kind of about it and all I wanted to talk about. Again, I've been having quite a bit of fun with the game. I've definitely put more time in it than I feel like I actually need to. And I do have an alt character that I'm leveling that I'm working on building a heavy guardian on, because I do want to push further with that. And then I don't know if I will make a 3rd character, because again, not multi-classing, but making multiple characters is in its own right a little bit difficult for sure. Like, it absolutely has some amount of difficulty to it, and so it's an amount of adjustment there, and having to grind for 2 characters can definitely be tough. But I do have the benefit of next week being able to get my life skills to, I think, like between 12 and 14, which will let you craft golden gear for you. It'll only be the level 40 golden gear, which will be great for this week, but obviously next week it'll be a little bit further behind. But, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, all of this stuff, I'll be able to craft some of the golden weapons, which will be nice, because I am multi-classing with the Frost Beam or Ice Beam Frost Mage, so I definitely want to get this staff. Probably, even though I don't think it'll have the purple affix, it'll still increase my ability score, because my Ice Mage my Frost Mage is close to where it's close to my ability score here. It's like 10,000. It's about 700 off, I would say. So it can't quite do the last dungeon yet to get a weapon, but it's getting there. But in general, again, you can like start to craft golden gear, which is nice. This is the level 61 though, is when you hit level 27, which this feels like it'll take a lot longer to get to, but we'll see. And then eventually the level 81 as well. And then that'll be it for season 1, right? So looking forward to all of that stuff. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this video. I will do another dungeon run video for this upcoming week. We'll probably do the last 3 dungeons, see how that goes, just do it for fun. And then I'll try to see if they upload another video or they do the live letter or whatever it is for the Chinese season 2. Again, I'll also be looking forward for any information on that. There's been a few more images of some of the new NPCs being shown off still, but I'm really looking to actually see the bulk of the content, because again, some of the things that they said in that part 1 video that I released, they sound really great, you know, really easy to say, really easy to write, but much harder to be able to actually see it in effect. So that'll really be the biggest thing, is seeing if they actually are able to deliver on what they're saying. Yeah, so that will be about it for this video though. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.